still needs to be done, work that was started by the now departed Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And this year, in a different sense, Americans are being asked to take the day off as a holiday and to reflect on work of civil rights movement. And to expound on that, we do have Ignatius through our partners of Voice of America, who is live with us and for us. And that's the story right there. Ignatius?
Hi, Samson. How are you?
Very well, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you very much for asking me.
Now, how important is this day or this donkey years ago?
Well, it's so important that it's a federal holiday in the United States. So government agencies are closed, banks are not working, essentially, just to ensure that locals use the day to reflect on the legacy of the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Early on today, there was an event that was attended by one of his sons, including the Honorable Linda Thomas Greenfield, who is the United States representative at the United Nations, who spoke about the need for people to lead with empathy and kindness among conversations around hope, around the humankind being one race, and how to ensure that the work that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. left off continues to go ahead in the country. And as you can see behind me, this is a memorial that was enacted in his honor, and every year we're told 3 million people come here. Scores of people have continued to pour here as they come to reflect on the day and indeed commemorate and celebrate his legacy, what he stood for and what he continues to stand for in the culture. I will be speaking to one of the students at the Morehouse College, where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was an alumni, and they have been here today. Thank you very much for joining us. First of all, what's your name?
Massage Jenkins.
Okay, Massage, what does this day mean to you? You're coming all the way from Atlanta, I believe.
I'm actually from the DMV area, and this being my first semester at the school, this is the first time this day has had the magnitude that it has. There's a new meaning to the day for me since I share a brotherhood with the man that the day is celebrating. And sometimes it's easy to get lost in the history that where you are at the school, but I'm privileged to be here. I'm happy to be here.
You said to me that you have a new meaning. What is that meaning?
I mean, I have a characteristic, and I have something to uphold because of who he is. And because we share that brotherhood, it would be me letting down the brotherhood, letting him down by not upholding what he stood for.
All right. So as you live here today, what are you leaving with?
Something to think about. And I'd give you an answer if I had one, but I don't quite have one yet. I'm trying to take it all in. I'm trying to be patient with it.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
All right, so Samson, that's one of the students of Morehouse College. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was an alumni, and that's why you can see a number of them a while ago were here at his memorial. And I will try to see if I can get another person to talk to understand what this day means for them. But obviously, you can see the excitement.
Thank you very much. That's Martin Luther King Day going on out there. I don't know that I have known a better orator, at least in my generation, and many before, than the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. May he so rest in peace. You're still watching NBS Live, and I want to turn you over to Sheila, who is still continuing with the bulletin.
Thank you, Samson. Mystery still surrounds the cause of the fire that led to the death of a couple that died in an inferno in Naweru, Kawempe. 3 days later, police is still conducting investigations while the host couple is in custody. Kanare Mugume visited the crime scene today to reconstruct what could have taken place that fateful day through the eyewitness accounts.
Last week on Friday afternoon at about 1 p.m., a couple, Patricia and Kajumba, visited their friend, Ewan Kaitesi Susan, at her apartment in Jinja Karoli, Kawempe Zone A Ward. This one-bedroom apartment is where the three were meeting. At about 3 p.m., a plume of smoke started coming out of the bedroom window, according to the Defense Secretary of the area.
tetunaba kuyingira mu lumu.
Omuliro gwali mungi nnyo oba gwatuka okuba nti gwokya ne guyita mu paka waggulu ne gutuuka n'okwokya olugogo lw'amazzi waggulu awasemba. Then ekitegeeza nti omuliro gwali gw'amaanyi era abamu ku baasooka ogulaba bawulira kye bwatuka ku ddinisa eryo.
By the time he got here, police's fire brigade team was trying to put out the fire. Residents then quickly rushed to save the people inside. And this is where they found Kaitesi Susan in the living room, who told them that her two visitors were trapped in the bedroom.
Omuliro gwakwata mu kisenge. Ate nga mu kisenge abatuuze baali beesibiddemu. Okusinziira ku bakeera abatuukirawo ddala baasookawo balaga nti oluggi bamenya na lumenye.
Residents tried to break into the bedroom, but the door was locked, thus becoming unsuccessful. The fire raged on until police fire brigade team put it out, but it was too late. The couple had been burnt to death to a point that the residents could hardly identify them.
Kubanga okutuuka okwokya omuntu n'atafuna ona gaapu ereekaana tebaye munyambe abantu basobole okuwulira bali ebweru tekyaliwo.
Susan was rushed to hospital, but was followed by police officers to probe her about the incident. At first, she claimed that the cause of fire was a gas explosion, but we have since found out that this is not true.
One thing is still unclear about the source of the fire, as much as it is still out there on social media that it could have broke out from the gas cylinder. The gas cylinder is actually here and it was found intact by eyewitnesses. And yet there's not much evidence to show that the fire could have started from electrical wires.
Police say its forensic team has visited the scene and picked evidence, and the matter is still under investigations.
So her statement is not correlating. We wonder how two adults during the day die from an inferno, and there are a lot of allegations surrounding the whole issue of infidelity and all that.
One of the strange questions lingering in the minds of the residents is why was the bedroom door locked when the fire started? Why was there no alarm made for help? How did the two end up in the bedroom before the door was locked? Questions only the suspect can provide answers to. Kanarim Gume, NBS, Live at 9.
Thank you, Canary. Moving on tonight, we bring you a story of over 140 families in Mubende that have for the past 20 years struggled to access justice, a case stemming from delayed land compensation. This walk of faith that transcends the narrow enclave of Cowardice dates back to 2001, when a Kaweri coffee plantation, as a subsidiary of the Newman Cafe Group, a German-based company with the help of the Ugandan army, evicted more than 140 families to set up a factory, and 20 years later, no compensation has been provided.
Waleke Kaira Peter is 60 years old and now lives here, but not of his own choosing. 39 years ago, he lost his land that was his home and whole way of life. For 22 years now, he has trekked between Mubende and Kampala, seeking justice and compensation for the land lost at the hands of the government. He is not the only one seeking for the fine touch of the long arm of justice. And this is a walk of faith. Land case backlog stands at and stuck at the division of the High Court. Some cases have been undecided for many years. Such is the one of Kaira and others from Mubende. In 2001, over 401 families from the villages of Chitemba, Luwunga, Chijunga and Chiriamakobe in Maddu sub-county, Mubende district, were evicted from the land where their forefathers had settled for many years.
Abo bananyini b'ettaka eryo lye twavaamu nga bwe nafuna ekipya nze nga 18 ku olwo nabo bwe batyo bwe baatandika era ate bo baalumizibwa nnyo n'okusinga ku nze kuba bo baali ku kkubo kwennyini
ng'abasirikale omu akutte ekisipi akutte ekisipi erudda ne bandagira njogere bye baŋŋambye mukkirize nti atugo basikayo abasirikale bano bankakasizza era enkya we ziwerera ssaawa 4 tebasangawo omuntu n'omu gwe banaasangawo ajja kuba mufu bwe nnamala okwogera ebyo ne banta ne bavuga emmotoka yaabwe ne bagenda
nasirikira ne ŋŋamba ettaka lyali ly'abajjajjaffe kituufu, tetwalibba bubbi kituufu, kakati okutuyisa ng'embwa kyali kiki? Kati obusungu bwe bwankwata neŋŋaana ezo ssente zaabwe ze batatuwa mitemwa mituufu babeere nazo.
Namuyanja Felista Scholar, Sechiriji Laurencio, and Baleke Peter Kayira to this day are struggling to come to terms with this reality.
Singa faamu eyo eba evaawo n'enzirayo mu ngeri yange nga bwe nali kinsingirako.
Obudde bwe nali nnina bwali bwa mirimo gyange kunoonya mbaawo ntya.
Nze mpulira nga nnina obwesige bungi nnyo mu nsonga eyo. Ne bwenfa ekiro bannange bano abato tebagenda kulema kuguwoza gusinga kubanga pepa wakamukoze.
The 12 square miles of land is now owned by Kaweri Coffee Plantation, a subsidiary of the Newman Cafe Group, which is based thousands of miles away in Germany. For the very first time, we can exclusively show the documentation of this land. These certified copies from the Lands Registry indicate that part of this land belongs to the office of the Katikiro of Buganda, which is 9.6 square miles on Block 99, Plot 1. This makes it one of the properties of Buganda Kingdom confiscated by the central government in the 1966 Kabaka crisis. However, most of the families are those from the 2.4 square miles owned by Daudi Seboa. Bitterness and emotions are all over, owing to government's failure to protect them. They point to the former resident district commissioner, Fares Katamba, who enforced the eviction all those years ago.
I don't have any question to answer for Kaweri land.
To Katamba, however, none of these claims bears truth.
For me, I don't have any problem with them because I left and I've been informed with no case to answer.
RDC nga akutte ebbaluwa ze twali tuwandiikidde gavumenti nga tuziwandiikira tune jeno yagamba nti bino bimuliko bibalimba tugenda okubagoba wano lwampaka.
Kaweri problem is out of my hands.
If it was government, they should have been paid a prompt, acceptable, fair value prior to taking over.
Fares Katamba, the then RDC of Mubende, denies ever being part of any meeting with the evictees and accuses some of them for being money-minded.
There is a group of people who don't understand that people understand. For them, they think they are wise.
Nina ebbaluwa ey'omukulu w'amagye wano ng'akkiriza nti amagye gaagoba abantu mbu n'ebitongole ebirala friendly forces batu bwe yazoogera.
Nayimirira ne mbuuza RDC naffe abali ku lyaffe ery'obwanannyini ffenna tujja kgenda n'agamba nti gwe bonooba omu ku basiru beŋŋambye onoogira okyabaddemu.
It is common sense which answers that if you are wise, you can eat what is not yours because you are wise. You see? Those who are fools leave their things to go in the hands of the wise people.
This letter, written by the commander of the Defense Forces on the 24th of September 2005, indicates that only 84 families were evicted and resettled by a Wankaiwa who was the landowner. However, to this day, the residents hold their ground, saying the land belonged to Daudi Seboa and Kaiwa is not known to them. That Peter Kayira and a few other squatters were evicted forcefully because they intentionally refused to take the deal, yet the plantation was to be inaugurated on the 24th of August 2001. The letter disputes that the evictees went to court, yet by 2002, a case had been filed by Kayira at the Nakawa High Court Division. This would later lead to a court judgment on March 28, 2013, a judgment that luckily passed in their favour. The Honourable Court awarded 37 billion shillings to the plaintiffs. Execution of the court judgment could not suffice as the Court of Appeal, in July 2015, set aside the said judgment and ordered for a retrial at the High Court by another judge. This would give rise to another wait of 4 years, where the judge fixed the case for mediation. Back to square one, as government was offering only 1.9 billion shillings, far lower than the original agreement. The walk to justice later turned out to be that of the brave, as along the way, over 200 families decided to accept the terms set by government to get paid on December of 2019.
Buli family bajuwa obukadde 3 esobola okugula yika 10 mu budde obwo twali twogerera kati ne tuwanga ku bawaabi abaali ebinamu omu twasigadde 144.
But even those that accepted the terms are not any better. Nakato Desiranta is the lone survivor in her family. Her father, Katsure Petero, passed on a few years after the eviction. Her hope of payment is slowly dwindling.
Netugulawo bank olwasooka. Netugulawo bank olw'omulundi ogwokubiri. Si bwe kiri ssebo. Ne batugamba mugule omulundi ogwokusatu. Kodi ne ngamba nakatunze abaana be bantwolera nze zange ne zibula. Wamma abaana ne basigala nga baggulawo abalina ssente.
And she isn't alone.
Saawa ya leo tulinze ssente tewali kavaayo konna.
In the very first place, why did Nakato and Sebwato opt for a mere settlement?
Ndi omu ku baawulira nga ntambudde emyaka 20 ng'ekintu kintamye.
Nakata aganga amaanyi gawedde n'abantu gabwere nti ffe batuwe kye batuwadde tuve mu ddiiro kubanga abantu bonna bafudde baweddewo.
22 years, that's too long.
Kange Veronica, an advocate from Public Interest Law Clinic, has represented the evictees for a long time and is now focused on those who chose to get the money.
As per the consent judgment, we were trying to push to ensure that payment is made for those ones in the last financial year. But unfortunately, by the time the consent came through, it was too late. So we were not able to achieve that aspect of the consent judgment. However, we are trying to push.
And I always indicate this and condemn the courts for staying too long with the cases. Justice delayed is just denied.
Kange says the amount they seek may not make any significant difference in their lives now.
The settlement was made as per their pleadings, meaning the money they sought for in 2001 when they were filing the suit, what they claimed for as their personal claims is what the government agreed to pay them. The money there were no inflation, no, none of that applied.
Now if one was awarded 600,000 21 years ago, that was good money. I think the dollar could have been maybe 1,000. Now a dollar is 3,700. The value has gone down. So there must be a formula of keeping them in the same state of affairs with the value of money. What you should have done with that money at that time should be the same as now. That is justice.
Forez Katamba insists that every resident was paid and government owes no one.
What they are claiming for is not theirs. They were given land for the places they were occupying.
Twatambula naye mwana wa kitange abasajja abaali bakutte enkoba okupima ebibanja by'abantu ate bibatugamba nti biwedde okulima n'ebisigadde nga naawe okwata ku mumwa.
You were given land which you refused to take. Refusing does not come up with claiming. You refused what you were claiming for.
Kuba nabuuza essomero we balizimbye nga siriraba. Ne mbuuza eddwaliro pulaani nga teriiwo. Ne nnoonya ku nayikondo ekisenyi kyonna nga bwe kyali nga temuli nayikondo.
I think if the RDC did that, that was doing it on his own, contrary to the clear guidance and directives of His Excellency the President, and he should take liability personally.
21 years ago, this was Peter Kaida's land, where he tilled and lived with his family. On the side are the eucalyptus trees he had planted, but now cannot harvest. To him, it's not just about the compensation, but a manner of his ancestral lineage which was destroyed. This Amutuba